p.m. on February 20th, 2017. I'd like to call the Newfane Selectboard meeting to order. Welcome everybody here, select board members and members of the public and BCTV. Carol has got a very bad cold, so she will not be here. She's been struggling with that for quite a while now. The first order of business will be the January, unless anybody's got any amendments to the agenda.
I have an addition.
You have an addition?
Correspondence was inadvertently left off of the agenda.
So we're going to add correspondence down to the bottom, just before pay orders. Anybody have any problem with that?
No.
Okay. Anybody else got anything? Hearing none, we need to approve 3 sets of minutes. The first being January 30th. It was a regular meeting. Do I hear?
I'll make a motion to accept them.
I second.
Motion's been made, seconded to approve the minutes as written for January 30th, 2017. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed or abstaining? February 6th, 2017 hearing meeting.
I'll make a motion to accept them.
I second.
Motion's been made, seconded to approve the February 6th, 2017 hearing meetings as written. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed or abstaining?
Gary abstained.
Gary's abstaining, so it's 3-1. February 6th, 2017 regular meeting. What are your wishes?
Make a motion.
Make a
to
motion.
approve.
Motion's been made and seconded to approve the February 6th, 2017 regular meeting minutes as written. Is there any discussion on those? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Gary abstained.
Gary's abstaining, so there's 3 in favor and 1 abstention. So it passes. The next order of business is the road foreman, road commissioner's report. The roads are getting pretty narrow from all the snowstorms. Crew's been out pushing back the intersections and the roads. We put the wing on the grader and it's pushing back roads now. It's been a very expensive month for the budget with salt, sand, and overtime. We've had to have wreckers pull the trucks out several times, and the F-550 has been towed to Durand Ford. The trucks had chains on, but there's been so much hard ice underneath the sand that they've been having trouble, especially coming down hills with them. They start sliding to take off. So the guy's been putting them in the ditch rather than hitting a tree with them. It's much cheaper to get a wrecker than it is to hit a tree. So I'm hoping with a week of sun and warmer temperatures that the roads will begin to bear up. I've noticed today that they're bearing up quite nicely. The crew's put in a lot of long hours to keep the roads open and keep up with the breakdowns. We've had numerous breakdowns, which we'll get into here in a second. They're getting pretty tired of all the overtime and stuff, but they've done a really good job. I've had some minor complaints about some of the roads, but most people have complimented the crew. As far as the equipment goes, we've had a lot of problems with the trucks. It will be an expensive month for repairs. The 2015 550's been to Durand. Started out as a fuel pump, then it was a transfer switch problem. Somehow they said it's got sand into one of the tanks and it messed up the transfer switch, so it wouldn't switch. That was very expensive. It was like $2,600 to get it fixed. The truck was down for 2 weeks. So we ended up hiring Fitzpatrick's and Jake Beatty to help us with this real narrow, steep roads that we can't get with the other trucks. The 2013 Mack had to have a new rear spring put on the driver's side. Matt Coleman, who we do business with, did us a huge favor coming in one night before that real big storm, and he worked after hours to get the truck back together for the storm. I would actually, after I get done, like to see the board send him a letter of thanks for that, because that saved our butt. The 09 Sterling, the same storm, had a radiator leak, so we put some stop leak in it and got it through the storm. It's now over to Twin State, having a new radiator put in it and a new clutch cable, because that clutch cable kept binding up on it too. Another one that's going to be very expensive. Then the 2013 Mack again had the wheels on the other side of the truck loosen up, and they actually came off the truck up on New Road. DJ's Truck Service came up with they picked the back of the truck up and put new studs in it. Got the truck back to the garage. It's still got to have some different studs put in it, but DJs are the ones that have been towing the trucks for us out of the ditches as well, so we've kept him busy. I think it says sponsored by the town of Newfane on the side of his record now. But the best we can figure with the wheels on the Mac was he was running chains on it, and even though he just checked the wheels, the chains must have had enough vibration so the wheels loosened up on the truck. Luckily, it was up on a old back road somewhere where it didn't matter so much and nobody got hurt. So, as far as River Road Bridge goes, we just got the signs Friday, so we'll try to get those up tomorrow. I would suggest that we have Mark Pickering write up the bid proposal soon. Get it out to bid as long as we put down pending state structures grant. It has to be done one way or the other, so we need to get it started. Shannon was going to talk to People's United Bank to see about a short-term loan so we can get it fixed. Shannon and I will have to sit down with Mark at some point and get that bid out.
The one question was, are we definitely getting a grant, or?
The way Mark talked, yes,
Okay, because that's,
but it wouldn't be until July.
right, which is not a problem, but it might be a problem.
I believe what he said was, he looked at him like we get $175,000 grant. So that's the most.
That makes it a lot easier to get
Yeah.
funding.
And he said he would get the RFP together as long as we work with him, so we might email him something, maybe meet with him up here or somewhere, get that done. The Williamsville Hall, I did talk to Jeff Ross, he's coming out and getting the heat and water turned on the 27th of February to get that up and running. And we have another little problem that we have for him, that we hit the well casing with a loader the other day and broke the wires off, so he's got to do a little rewiring. It hasn't been our best week. As far as winter sand and salt go, we're having more sand brought in by Fitzpatrick's, and we're having more salt brought in as well. And I would just like to thank the road crew for all their hard work, keeping the roads open and working very long hours on the roads, and also working on the equipment so we could keep up with the storms. We had several rescue calls and several fire calls during the storms on the back roads, and the fire department and EMS personnel had no problem getting there, which is pretty important to me. So that is all I have.
I'd like to add that the residents and also visitors to Newfane have been commenting for quite a few weeks how impressed they are with the road crews here.
You guys put
And I
it all-
really thank you and all of the guys, and Mike with the sand, and I think it's very impressive how the crews in Newfane work together to get
The
things.
guys work out really well. They
Yeah,
work on the
really.
trucks and keep the roads open. That's good.
Yep. How many trucks do you have right now that are still running?
Well, I'd have to figure out how many trucks we have total, so. I think we have one over to Twin State right now, and we have one that's going over to Twin State, so there's like two big trucks and two little trucks still on the road, plus the
Oh,
grader.
okay, that's good.
We're supposed to be in the 50s and 60s the next few days, so that'll help us get the trucks back together
Yeah, I'm gonna be driving back, so pray for good weather.
with your margarita.
Yeah, there you go. I graduated from Margarita School.
Anybody got anything else?
I was thinking on that truck there, they said the sand was in the tank. Check that cover out on that thing, there's a vent they put for the overflow thing. Because my truck did the same thing.
He says that they've corrected it, but I'm gonna look at it, because Matt Coleman said that Ford actually made a repair kit with a vent that goes down over the backside of the fuel tank, so we can't do that. The guy at Durant said this truck doesn't have that system on it, but I'm working looks.
Yeah, mine is right in the housing that holds the cap. And it goes right into it, and I got sand, that's what I asked
Yeah.
them. And what it did mine, you couldn't pump fuel into it.
Oh, yeah.
Couldn't plug that up like that.
Yeah, it's gonna be very expensive. It was $2,600 to get it back on the road again.
I mean, they should have covered it for you.
But yeah, it's got a bumper-to-bumper warranty on it.
The other place covered mine up like that, so.
Yeah. I had quite a talk with him, and I didn't get anywhere, so. Anybody got anything else?
Motion to approve?
Motion's been made to approve, is there a second?
I second.
Motion's been made and seconded to approve the road foreman and road commissioner's report. Is there any other discussion? Hearing none, all those.
You want me to add into that motion also the letter of thanks to, who is it, Mark?
Matt Coleman?
Matt Coleman?
Yeah.
Okay, I'll modify my motion to also include a letter of thanks to Matt Coleman for his help during this period.
All right.
Second.
Motion's been made, seconded to approve the road foreman's road commissioner's report, along with sending Matt Coleman a letter of thanks for coming down after hours working on the trucks for us. Any other discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed or abstaining? I'm abstaining, so it's 3-1. Next thing on the agenda is certificate of highway mileage, which we do every year. All we have to do is let the state know that we didn't take in any more miles of road, thank God. We didn't give any up, which is, we could, but basically we have to sign it for the year endings. That helps us get state funding. So, somebody want to make a motion to sign it?
So be it.
Is there a second?
Second.
Motion?
Second.
What's that?
I second.
I second.
Okay.
Go ahead, Mary.
Motion's been made and seconded to sign the certificate of highway mileage year ending February 10th, 2017. Is there any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed or abstaining? The ayes have it. Sorry, there. We're down to scheduled members of the public. Town Office Committee. Doris, that's you.
That's me. Town Office Committee has been talking about painting inside and outside of this building. And we did get an estimate from someone, and it's fairly detailed, and what I want to know is if the board wants the Town Office Committee to put together a RFP to be sent out for painting the exterior and the interior. The exterior, the estimate that we got included taking off the siding from the east wall, which is that south wall, and down to the end of the, down the walkway, and leaving on, and just the north side and the west side are really in decent condition. Taking off all the clapboards and putting on new hemlock clapboards. I don't know if the board wants to do that, or if they give detail, if we ask them for details in the RFP, then you can decide whether or not you want to do that or not.
Well, they're taking off, putting on what?
Excuse me?
What kind of wood you said?
Hemlock.
Pre,
Stain.
stained hemlock.
Cedar. Doris, I believe we were discussing pre-treated cedar.
This estimate is for hemlock. And we can put in you can put in both to get a price for the two, but I think cedar's the most expensive.
Can I make
Sure.
a comment about that? It was in 2008, when we were doing the last part of the renovation in our house. Sidney decided he wanted to take off all the clapboard of the entire house around it. Of course, I was screaming, "You're crazy, and that's ridiculous." And he said, "No, first of all, it's going to be much cheaper than spending all the time sanding down, 100 years of paint." But the important thing that he did, and I don't know if this is in your estimate or not, and he said it's made a huge difference, was that we got the hemlock, and what he did was he primed all
Yes.
the sides.
Yes, that's what's,
And
That's
if
what's
you
in
look
the
at our
estimate.
house now, it's like 8 or 9 years now since it's been done. And I have to tell you, it is great.
Right.
Because, and he claims that important step of priming the
Yes.
sides of the hemlock
Yes.
before painting it is
Yes.
what has made a big difference.
yes. Well, if you were to scrape what's there, you're gonna get into your lead paint business. and
Exactly,
Get rid of
but you-
that and all that other
Right.
stuff, and it's.
And
it's-
it actually, it worked out really well. I never knew one could do that or would do that, and it ultimately saved us a lot of money.
So you're gonna put an RFP out for the outside and another one for the inside, or?
Right, right. But I'm saying, board want the committee to put that together for you to look at afterwards, before it goes out?
I would think.
Okay.
It's up to these guys,
In the
you
meeting,
guys.
we talked about encouraging vendors to bid on both. So we end up with one vendor. But
So
if
you-
people want to bid it separately, they can.
So you just kinda asked around, felt out some pricing and stuff, and they gave you a kind
We got an estimate, and it gave us a lot of the details of the type of thing I was just talking about. And if we put an RFP out for, like you say, replacing,
So this person that gave the estimate, you told me probably end up bidding on it anyways, right?
oh, I'm sure they will,
So what kind of
Yeah.
estimate did it come out with?
but I'm not gonna tell you what the numbers were.
Well, I mean, it doesn't matter if it's just an estimate, why
Well,
don't you tell me
it's
who
a-
it was, right?
Well, I don't think it's,
Then it's out in the public for everybody else to know what they bid on.
yeah, once they know what they bid on, then that's.
See her after the meeting, in other words.
It's not fair. It's not fair to the person who did the estimate anyway. And in this discussion, the question came up about the window quilts. And did they have to be taken down? Did they have to have, whatever done to them? So I looked into that, and I've got some information about the window quilts. And if we were, they don't have to be taken down. They can be cleaned.
Thank you.
Is there any modern, something besides those can you put up there?
Well, to replace these with new window quilts would be about $6,000. I talked to Brian Whitler,
Yeah.
and so that information is on there. You can wash these by hand, which would mean there's 15 of them. You'd have to have a large bathtub or swimming pool in order to wash them and do that.
Marion has a swimming pool, take them right out.
Yeah.
No, I like doing the laundry in the brook. And I hang up the wet clothes on the trees.
So Brian Whitler from Window Quilts didn't know about about doing the cleaning. So I called Mass Dowler and they weren't interested because they said when they did some cleaning one time, they ended up with lots of stains. So I contacted Catamount Carpet, and they came in and took pictures and looked at them, and their estimate for cleaning them is $600, $40 for each one. So I don't know what the board would like to do about that.
It's a whole lot cheaper than $6,000.
It seems to be an extra zero in there, yes. But I don't know what the board
No,
wants.
they're grubby, I would
Yeah,
tend to think that we should do something with them.
yeah.
How much money is left in the Williamsville Hall fund right now, do you know? Can we do
I don't know
four
about the
accounts
Williamsville
before-
Hall.
or the-
I
this
don't
one?
care about Williams.
Well, this
Hall,
is,
this
they're all,
one.
they're all lumped together, that's the problem.
Not even,
Not really.
broke them out.
You broke them out?
Yeah, we
So how
broke
much
them
is
out.
left in the town office?
Oh, about $40,000.
Well, that's for the capital, but would that come out of capital?
Well, I don't know. I don't know if it would come out of capital. But probably, I don't know.
How much is in the, do we have a maintenance?
We do, but that's pretty shot until July.
Yeah,
But I think what Todd, what were you asking, is there an alternative
Well,
to
I mean, we could-
quilts?
Well, yeah,
What,
just
something more
$6,000.
that's to replace these with new ones.
Yeah, that'd be 6,000 to replace them, so I'm kinda liking the 600. But
Certainly,
if they don't
certainly
fall
without
apart.
having them cleaned, the room is not gonna look very good after having the room painted. They're gonna really stand out, so I think $600 is money well spent.
Is that, can you find out from the auditors whether we can take it out of capital, or?
Yeah.
It's really not a, it's not a structural improvement, that's the problem. I thought I don't have
Replacing
any.
them might be, but
Replacing them would be.
Yeah.
Not unless you
leaving them
put
as
it
a
in a
maintenance.
painting bid, and it all comes out of the same deal.
Well, this is two different people. You're not gonna ask,
Well, I know, but the painter could get the price from the cleaner just all you did. Right? I mean, it's just like I
it's
go out, when I
less
do a
expensive
job,
for us to be the contractor directly with Catamount than it is. to
I guess we have
paint
a problem
your
trying to get it out of the capital fund. If we called it structure and did the painting and all that, you'd come out of the same bid. Right?
Mm,
I mean, if you can't take it down another way. I mean, I don't care how you do it, $600 or nothing,
All of
compared to what
these
else
are
would spend, but I mean.
Yeah. We've got it in the
Select
highway
board could always
department,
give
we got
up their wages.
$600 for something.
I'll give up my wages, I don't care. I never take any anyway, so there must be something in there.
If you, I want you to call your attention to the Catamount cleaning. I made a copy of the brochure because it also talks about indoor air quality and wood floor cleaning and preserving that they do. Since we talk about air quality and we talk about wood floor.
That'd be good.
Yeah, when did we get our money out for the selectmen?
The chairman's supposed to get $1,200, so see, I can just donate it. Right, doesn't the chairman get $1,200?
I found the chairman, yeah.
No, I mean, you could take it that way. We last time we put it into intercom, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you put it towards the phone.
We
How
planned
much
on
is in
having
the
a
select
big
board
retirement
budget?
party here for these guys, but I guess we could spend it on that instead.
I don't know how much it is.
And they would do this like on a
It's like
Friday.
$800 or something.
So it'd be enough. So somebody want to make a motion to do this pending Shannon finding out which
I make
account it's
a
gonna come out
motion.
of?
The chairman's gonna find out.
Is there a second?
Second,
Okay, the motion's been made and seconded to spend up to $600 for cleaning of the shades, is that what they're called?
Window
Shades,
doors.
window quilts.
Yeah.
Depending on what Shannon comes up with for which account it's gonna come out of. Is there any other discussion? Hearing none, all those,
I
what's it?
suppose we could join it with the painting contract, because we're doing it because of the painting.
Well, we just talked about that, and it's not gonna work, they don't think, because it's a separate outfit that's gonna be doing the cleaning, so I think we should just go with what we got. It's only $600, so.
Yep.
Any other comments? Hearing none, all those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed or abstaining? That you have.
Thank you.
And you're gonna come back to the board with the RFP for the outside
And the interior,
and the interior. That would be good.
if that's what you want,
I
yeah.
think, especially the outside, I mean, the inside's probably too, but the outside's about the worst looking building there is in the village.
Oh, I know. Somebody said to me, oh, I don't think you should put any money into this building, because of course, they want to have a new building. And I said, well, until you get a new building, the outside does not look attractive at all.
At least the Route 30 side of it's gotta be fixed.
Yeah, it's looking like the building next door. Well, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Unscheduled members of the public? Ken?
I have nothing to add or subtract.
Anyone else? Good. New business.
Entertainment.
March 6, 2017 Select Board meeting discussion. What Shannon and I had discussed anyways is not having that meeting because it's the day before town meeting.
I like that idea to have it.
Why?
We can rehearse. No, really, we can go over everything of what needs to be done on town meeting day.
I would probably be absent at that meeting, but you can
No,
do
you
that.
won't.
Oh, yeah. But you guys can do it.
I have a thing I have to do that day, but
I can't hear you when you talk like that.
I won't be able to come that night.
You don't?
Mm-mm.
I think there's still some business that will probably be left out on the line that we need to finish up with before town meeting. That would give us an opportunity to do that.
So whatever the board wants to do, I don't care one way or the other.
You're still the chairperson.
But, and I counted the meetings and the next meeting is not my count, so
I know, but you can't say you don't care.
I don't
Well, you
probably
can
have it.
say whatever you want.
$1,200.
Why, is it a regular scheduled meeting then?
It is.
It is.
Town meeting the next day, and then you have to have an organizational meeting.
So you're gonna have meetings Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. And all day, well, town meeting used to be all day.
Gets me out of the house, so I don't care.
Used to be the Carolinas.
Doesn't really matter.
What's your pleasure? Somebody make a motion.
I make a motion that we have the meeting on March 6th, the day before town hall meeting.
Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Motion's been made and seconded to have the meeting March 6th
At what time?
with the chairperson here.
Without the chairperson here. Is there
With-
any other discussion?
No, with the chairperson.
All those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye?
Aye.
Opposed or abstaining? I oppose.
Two.
You
Let-
can't,
That's not good show.
Let it be known that the chair has opposed this silly notion.
Putting it in here. I'm actually putting an I in too. It doesn't count.
oh my God.
Old business.
If we didn't
Adopt-
have it on the 6th, when would you have it?
Oh, we didn't say what time.
We have the organizational meeting
We're gonna
Wednesday.
have the organizational meeting either Wednesday or Thursday.
No, but I mean to approve everything that you gotta approve.
You don't have to approve anything else.
You got pay orders and all that stuff you have to approve. Right?
That's it. Well, I don't
They-
know if she'll have
they
it
have regular
ready.
I mean, any invoices that you may come from the trucks, repairs, and
You could do those on Wednesday.
We're gonna get into a different treasurer.
So would we want to then set the organizational meeting for Thursday? Give ourselves a day's break?
Normally you do it the day after town meeting because you need to get yourself a chairman of the board and
Yep.
and all that, so that if something happens in town, you've got somebody.
No later than Thursday.
yeah, but see, you're not on the board then at that point.
That's what I mean. So you'll have to,
I mean, it probably won't be a very long meeting then, is it?
you know, just go into
Get a
that
full
list
meeting
of,
on Wednesday.
the one thing we need to find out is all the things that Red Chafee was doing before. Find somebody that's gonna do all those things now.
Those
That's,
don't actually exist anymore. And you can appoint them, but you don't have to appoint them. And
I see
don't
some
think you
different
should.
towns gonna vote it out.
yeah. Can do it in memory of Red instead. Anyways,
they should just be forever.
Marion made the silly motion and it was approved, so
Yay,
What time?
6
9
o'clock.
o'clock.
6 o'clock.
Okay. Old business, adopt the town plan amendment. The floor is yours. All we have to do is approve it, right?
You do, because you held the hearing, it was duly warned, and nobody had questions or changes.
You don't have anything else to
There's
add?
nothing new to add at this time.
So you just need.
Do we have a motion?
I will need to recuse myself, as has been my practice when we're talking about plan amendments.
I'll do it, make the motion adopt it as amended.
Marion, you want to second it or don't want to second it?
I will second it.
The motion's been made, and seconded to adopt the town plan. Gary is going to recuse himself. I'm assuming he's left the room, but we can't tell.
He's going to get a
I
margarita.
don't know how I'm gonna get you back. Do you have another phone? Is there any discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed or abstaining? 3 ayes and 1 abstention, and Carol is sick. So congratulations, you have now adopted the amendment.
Thank you very much.
It was pretty difficult, but we did it. Audit during elections. Shannon, fill us in on that.
Yes, I spoke with Fred Duplessis from Sullivan Powers about doing an audit at the end of the current treasurer and town clerk's term and with the start of the new. And he said it's really up to the board. He said he doesn't see a need at all to do it in the town clerk's office. They can ask a few extra questions when they do the regular audit and that will be fine. He said he has a few towns that want to do that in between the treasurer. He said it's not really a recommendation, but they can do it. It's very quick. It's about between $1,800 and $2,200 to do it. And it doesn't need to be done that day. He said they can come in a week or two and get it done. But he said it's really up to the board. They don't necessarily recommend it, but
My
can
feeling
do
is
it.
that we owe it to the taxpayers in Newfane to have an audit, make sure that it's clear with the treasurer. I obviously don't suspect anything, but I think we owe it to the taxpayers to do that. And I think it would be easier for Maureen to leave too, and the new treasurer coming in to know that everything's clear.
I agree with Todd.
As far as the town clerk goes, I don't really see where she handles a whole lot of money.
Well, like he said, it would not be cost effective because you're talking about such a small
Cause all the
amount of
hunting
money.
fishing licenses go to the state and they have to audit that, so.
Exactly, so
Well,
he said,
she's talking dog licenses and,
yeah, he said spending between $1,800 and $2,200 to talk about, you know, maybe $200 or $300 just isn't.
Mhm.
so what's the rest of the board's?
You already have an audit on that, when she makes her turnover to the treasurer at the end of whatever period. The treasurer then does the audit to make sure that all the transactions and the amounts turned in are equal. So I don't think you need to audit the town clerk.
Right. What's the board's feeling? What do you wanna do? Audit just the treasurer?
Yeah.
Yeah,
So we
I'll
wanna
make a
that
motion to audit the treasury accounts during the elections. Just before the elections, actually, would be better.
No, it has to be
It
after.
has to be after because she's gonna be there till after town meeting, so.
Yep. All right, then
What they'll
immediately
do is
following
audit
the
to
election.
that day, but it doesn't need to be done.
They said that they could do it within a week, 2 weeks, so
Okay.
they just cut it off at town meeting when she's done, so.
Right, so basically Elaine comes in and reconciles the books to town meeting day, and then they check those.
Anybody got anything else?
No?
All those in favor of,
don't we need a second?
yes, I said, didn't you second it?
No,
Yeah, you do need a second.
I will second.
Okay. The motion's been made and seconded to have an audit for the treasurer after town meeting. Is there any other discussion?
This is not because we suspected things. It's
No.
just good government.
Just good business sense.
Yep.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed or abstaining? The ayes have it. All right, Wyndham Solid Waste District Management District Solar Net Metering Program. Everybody should have gotten all the things from the lawyer that Shannon sent to us.
Yes,
There's a lot of stuff to read in there.
yes.
My recommendation would be to, who do we send that, all the attorney stuff to down there? Or how does that work?
We would send it to that Jesse at
Stockwell.
Encore, Jesse Stoll.
So,
And so, yeah, I would just send them the attorney's notes and see if they are willing to
put it in
those
as a-
changes.
Somebody want to make that a motion? Because there was a lot of changes there that,
Yeah,
a lot of significant changes there that he came up with.
I'd like to make a motion that we send the letter in response to the lease from our attorney, Rich Carroll, to Jesse. I don't know his last name.
Stoll.
Stoll.
So,
Is there a second?
for review.
Second.
I would second it.
Motion's been made and seconded to send the copy of what the attorney came up with for things for the Wyndham Solid Waste Solar Net Metering Program to Jesse Stoll. Is there any discussion?
You might want to add to that for incorporation into the final agreement.
Do what? Say that again?
We might want to add to that for incorporation into the final agreement.
All right, Shannon's got it.
Okay.
So the motion's been made and seconded. Is there any other discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed or abstaining? All right, that takes care of that one. Should we wait for, because we have them down for 7:15 for Green Lantern, or can we just do it? That's another one we're gonna have to have the attorney.
Well, if you want to skip over it and then come back to it after you're done.
Okay, we'll skip that for now as long as the board's good with that. We have him down for 7:15, so. Town clerk's itemized cost list. Anybody have any comments?
I didn't get a copy of that.
Oh, it just came today, so
Oh, okay.
sorry.
Well, town clerk wants $200 for her desk. She wants $150 for the assistant town clerk's desk. She wants $25 for a bookcase. She wants town clerk's computer set up. Carol said she'd use this $70. It's Storage bench and vault, $40. Cot systems dedicated labeler and scanner, $10. Space heater, $15. Lamps, 4 in the vault, 3 in the town clerk's office, $25. A step ladder that Shannon's been using for $15. Storage cabinet of $200 for a total of $750. I have a problem. I have a big problem with the fact that that desk stayed out there until just about a month ago and disappeared. The one that we took out of that office, put it in the furnace room so we'd have it. She never asked anybody about giving it away to somebody scrapping it. So,
You discussed that, excuse me, at our last meeting.
yeah, that doesn't go over well with me. That was town property. When you did it, you came to the board and said, my desk is falling apart, I got a chance to get another one, I'm just gonna let this go to the scrapper. We all looked at it and said, you know, it was worn out. She never brought it up to anybody, just went and did it. And there was nothing wrong with that desk. Just, now we gotta spend $200 for another one, or is it? I would, if it was me, I would say no to most of the stuff and go look for one somewhere, a used one somewhere. There's a,
I think we do better to start off with a clean piece of paper and just let the new clerk determine what you need, and then we go get it, and the town owns it.
yeah. What's the board's
Second
pleasure?
it.
The motion's been made and seconded to ask the new town clerk what she's going to need for office equipment, and then we can go, or the board, it won't be me, but the board can go check into other places to get even used stuff. There's that place over in Dover that's, that he's got, they said he's got quite a bit of stuff over there, but anyways, before I do that, we did have a motion and seconded. Did
I
somebody second it?
second.
All right, now we can have discussion. There's plenty of places to buy used stuff, right? I mean, there's even that surplus place up in, wasn't Barry, now it's in Waterbury.
And
And I think-
Barbara has one on,
I think that
Flat
cabinet thing there that she has on her list there for $200. That's the last item on the list, I think.
Yeah, meeting room supplies.
I think that was, no, I think that was used. It was a used thing, and Frank made the top for it.
If we don't approve that, then you're gonna lose it, right?
Well, we already looked into
Can I say that?
possibility of buying something, and that was gonna be, you know, more expensive than the $200, but
we can figure it
we can look for, like you said, used cabinet stuff somewhere.
We can do this for now anyways, and then if it doesn't work, then come back to the next select board meeting and say, you know, I'm not so opposed to something like that as I am the rest of this stuff. Is there any other discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed or abstaining? The ayes have it. So you're gonna talk to her about that tomorrow?
if you are.
Okay, I'll give her an email. The only other thing we have on the schedule is pay orders unless we, correspondence. Yes.
Yeah, yeah, lots of
It's all this one right here.
Yeah.
First one's VLCT News, which most of us get. EAP, which that means taking it to the garage, wanting to take these to the garage.
Yes,
And
please.
then somebody else hand them out here. Shannon can hand them out here.
I can handle that one, that's fine.
1, 2, 3.
Just take what you need for the garage and that's
Right.
stay here.
All right. That was easy. What else have we got? All right. I'll leave these here for you for the town office. Vermont Spring Select Board Institute. Spring Select Board Institute focuses on unique roles and responsibilities of Vermont Select Board members. Designed for both newly elected and seasoned members, the workshop is highly interactive and allows members to learn from each other's experience. Staff members who report to the select board will also benefit from attending. Does anybody want to do this? It's March 11th at, where is it going to be?
It's usually in Montpelier.
Yeah, there's that hotel right across from the Capitol.
It's here if anybody wants to sign up for it.
I went last year. It was very good.
Yep. We have, dear select board members, I'm part of a women's march movement. I'm from Newfane, Vermont, and I am concerned about our citizens' protections in our rights, apparently. Here's why. I want you to come out strongly against Trump's illegal, what should I say? Orders. I want you to send the message that we will not comply. Brenda Siegel. This is kind of like what Ken was talking about before, and we recommended bringing that up at town meeting under old business, or under
Other business.
other business.
So they want us to vote, bring up something against Trump then?
Apparently, I don't know what they want us to do.
I think I'd probably take a no on that one. Myself.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe it's not about Trump, or maybe it's a policy, maybe it's less about Trump and more about a positive policy proposal. Maybe.
It says Trump's illegal orders, though.
I don't really hear where they asked you to do anything.
Yeah. We've brought it up, but I think that's about all we can do with it.
Yeah.
If she wants to go farther with it, I would recommend, like we were saying to you, to bring it up at the other business at town meeting.
Mike,
No, I'm not interested.
I don't know if we have
Maybe we should just send her a note telling her that the forum to do this would be at town meeting. And what the process would be.
we can do that, I guess. Is that what the board wants to do? Have Shannon send her a little note?
I would tell her to watch BCTV.
Okay. We'll let Shannon take care of that. All right, Bridge, this is from VTrans, Wayne S. Simmons, Structures Program Manager. Newfane Selectboard, project name, Newfane, Bridge 106. No, Newfane BF 01066. Regarding Bridge 12 over Rock River, Bridge Program Funding Update. Dear Select Board members, I am writing to inform you of some recent changes in project schedules for the subject project, which I think he's talking about the Arch Bridge. The change is a result of recent budgeting activities for the state's 3 bridge programs, Interstate Bridge, State Bridge, and Town Highway Bridge. We are very focused on meeting our project delivery dates and creating credible schedules so our stakeholders know when to expect construction work. To provide the very best schedules, we looked at the anticipated funding levels for the next 5 years in the bridge program and aligned our project delivery schedules to those levels. An alignment of the project schedules with funding regrettably has resulted in delaying the project for advertisement. We will still aggressively developing this project to be ready for our revised construction schedule. New schedule has been pushed out. The advertisement to the fall of 2010 instead of the fall of 2019. Doesn't make any sense. Construction will commence in the spring of 2021. In other words, they pushed it back like 5 years.
The bridge. The bridge.
Yeah.
When
Please
you gonna do
contact
it?
Carolyn Carlson, project manager, blah, 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 or myself. Construction of 2021. And it was the fall of 2019, so they pushed it back
2 years.
2 years. I think the select board should write a letter back saying that,
Thanks a lot.
that bridge is critical to the town of Newfane, and to, being that it's a federal connecting highway, that they need to do all they can do to get the money for this. We need to send this to, as far as I'm concerned, our representative, Emily Long, and have her push for it too, and some of our senators, because this The biggest problem with this is that if Route 30 is closed for some reason, and that bridge gets closed between now and then, there's no way to detour unless you go all the way to West Brattleboro or up Route 100.
Like they did for the Hurricane Irene.
Yeah,
Can you get fire equipment across that bridge?
we do now, yeah.
Yeah, okay. When they had their public hearing at the bridge, they indicated this was the most important, second most important bridge project in the entire state. What happened to that?
I don't know. I think we need to get together with Shannon and get together with Emily Long and the senators and push the issue. Because if we just sit back and do nothing, they're just going to let it go. So,
Pushing it back.
Yep. How new to communicate with our elected representatives to get an approved schedule for this bridge and keep it as a top priority.
anybody want to second that?
Second.
A second.
Motion's been made and seconded to get a hold of our elected officials, in other words, our representatives and senators, and send them each a letter of our disapproval of this letter and the importance of getting this bridge done on time. Is there any other discussion on this?
And if the lever doesn't work, let them not be there
Right.
and visit them in their offices. I understand they don't really have offices, they have like a corner. Visit them in their corner.
Yep. Ken?
I imagine that in the run-up to the discussions about implementation of bridge repair, that there must be a study that we did or someone else did outlining the dangers and perils and of doing either nothing or delaying doing something.
Yeah, it's that Carolyn Carlson should have the whole correspondence, all that. She's the one we've been dealing with. We started this like 5 years ago. They came down and told us basically that the bridge has gotten to basically critical, and actually the bridge reports are still saying that it's critical. So plus it's a federal connecting highway, so maybe it wouldn't hurt to send it to some senators to push the issue, because this isn't just like it's just Newfane. It's a federal connecting highway that we get federal money for it. So
Maybe we should look at our elected representatives also on up Route 30, representatives and senators, and send it to them too, because they're impacted by this as much as we are, and maybe even more so.
yeah,
So,
okay.
yeah, so basically the letter is telling us to roll the dice for 2 years.
What the problem is with that bridge is, and what they've told us is that if the barrel of the arch gets any worse, they can close it because they can use Grimes Hill. But my biggest push to them was, yes, you can do that until Route 30 has a disaster, like the bridge that went out down there on Depot Road. All the traffic use that bridge. Plus, if something happened on Route 30, you can't get fire apparatus around you. It's going to be a long wait to get fire trucks there. So, like I said, the only detour would be either Route 100 going down into Wilmington and into Brattleboro, or the opposite.
Yeah.
So that's not acceptable.
I wonder where the money went that was going for that in 20, whatever it was.
I don't know. Probably education fund.
2019. I just want to really, what come up more important, set us back.
I don't know. We could-
Cross overruns on the Route 30 interstate bridge.
yeah.
It's open the 1st of March.
Two
Yeah.
lanes. 2 lanes.
So, should we, probably the best bet is to get together with you and write some letters and send one to Carolyn Carlson too, and maybe she'll come down at some point, go over this with us again. So, all those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed or abstaining? The ayes have it. So, when I get a minute, I'll get together with Shannon and sign the letter I just want to sign the letter.
We'll read it first.
I think that was the last of the correspondence.
Okay.
And the only other thing we have now is pay orders.
Pay orders.
Unless why don't we just
We can it's fine.
do this thing with Green Lantern because we're not gonna sign it tonight anyway, right?
Right.
Right,
So let's do the thing with Green Lantern. When he gets here, we can explain it to him.
okay.
Basically, we had the same type of letter from our attorney about Green Lantern, except that it deals with our landfill being town land. And I know Carol's concerned because she'd like to see it put in there that Newfane residents should be first on their list as far as selling any of the net metering out of there. Then after that, open it up to whoever, but she thinks that the taxpayers of Newfane should be the first to get dibs on those. She'd like to see that in
We had
there.
discussed that.
But she's pretty concerned about it, that's why I'm bringing it
Yeah,
up.
no, I know.
Yeah.
She said-
I would recommend,
And he had committed to that.
it's not in his contract though.
Yeah, it's not in his contract, but he had committed to it.
Right.
at the meeting. So we gotta make sure it's in the contract.
So what I'm recommending is we do the same thing with this contract as we did with the Wyndham Solid Waste Management contract. Give him what our attorney has said we should have in there as far as language goes. And when he gets the contract done and all that stuff gets put in it, then come back to the board and we either say yes or no. I don't, it'll probably be after town meeting, but the board can either say yes or no to this project. I haven't heard anything negative, so I'm assuming it would go through. But I think that we, as the town, need to have this stuff put in there. These are 20-year leases on both these solar projects. And a lot of stuff can happen between now and 20 years. So we want to make sure
What
this,
could go wrong?
yeah, nothing for me. You guys will still all be on here in 20 years. They're just gonna move the chairs out here so you can get your wheelchairs in. All right,
I've still got a question as to why we are moving ahead with Green Lantern before we go to a public process to advertise and offer the opportunity to other bidders. I mean,
Gary?
the amount of money involved clearly puts us into the area where we need to be bidding this out and offering it to other vendors and see who gives us the best deal.
Gary, we've talked about this for weeks and weeks and months.
And
nobody else- we had people come-
For quite some time, but it's a legal issue.
No,
Voters want to make sure, and I just want to make sure that we make sure that voters are getting the best deal. We have not publicly advertised this.
we have publicly requested this at our select board meetings. It's been in the paper, it's been in the Commons, it's been written up, it's been on BCTV for months. We've been dealing with this. We had one other company come and they never showed up again. And then another one was
Those are not
supposed to
legal
come
requests.
and she
Those
never
are
came.
not business
We have a
justifiable
purchase policy.
opportunities to bid on a project.
I'm not gonna agree with that.
Mike, what do you think?
Oh, I think we've done due process on it. Because one other time I give them extra 30 days, nobody showed.
Right, absolutely.
We
Or
do
not.
have a purchase policy, which says anything that you're spending over $2,000 has to have a formal bid process. In this case, you're not
Exactly.
spending anything, you're gaining, you're
Right, that's
actually
good.
getting.
We're not
income.
gonna spend anything to get this
But
done.
you're not
that's the thing.
purchasing anything, so it doesn't fall under the purchase policy.
So we already made a motion.
Somebody needs to make a motion one way or the other.
Well, I'll make a motion that we send this down to the lawyers, just like we did the waste management, to get the
Yes.
proper wording in it. And
Is there a second?
A second.
The motion's made and seconded to send this, what we got back from the attorney, to Green Lantern. And so that we get the right wording into the contract. And when Green Lantern gets done with it, adding all the stuff in it, comes back to us for a vote. We just did the same thing with Wyndham Solid Waste. We had turned it over to the attorney, asked for advice. He's got several pages of different wording
On the other thing.
that you'd like to see in there.
Sure.
Um,
Yeah.
So the motion's been
The
made,
Wyndham
seconded.
County, the Wyndham County Solid Waste is a different process
Right.
than giving town land for an income-producing company to make money off of without offering it to other companies who might be willing to do the same thing and maybe pay us more. The fact that we've had people who said they would come and didn't come, that still doesn't negate the fact that we have a responsibility to advertise this properly and to make sure that people have the opportunity to know that we're really going to offer something here. If you intend to get involved, then now's your last time to speak. It's a formal process. Wyndham County Solid Waste is not the same thing.
So what's, I mean, we're in discussion, board, got anything else to discuss?
Actually, I have one more thing. If you look at the end of that packet, there's another email from Rich Carroll that says,
This one?
yeah, it says, one more point on the Browns Road issue, please.
Yep. This one here.
So,
Right there.
Oh,
he said you don't have to because it's a lease and not a sale, but you could warn it as though you're going to sell the land. You have to warn it in 3 places and advertise. And if a petition is received that people don't want you to do that, then you have to put it to a town meeting. So Rich said you don't have to do that, but if you wanted to be extra open,
Basically, we're not selling land, but
you're not. And
But
so
we're doing
basically,
it.
he said he can't find where a lease is the same thing. But that if you wanted to be more open and more transparent and more careful, you could do
which is
that.
what Gary's saying, basically, so that would cover it.
Perfect, yeah.
Did you hear that, Gary?
Yeah,
That would cover it.
yep.
That you'd have it posted in 3 different places, stating what the town's planning to do there, and giving people an opportunity to come up with a petition to stop it, or come to some select board meetings to discuss it.
Yep. I don't want to be involved in something that looks like it's a sweetheart deal.
Yeah,
I think we have to do it the right way.
this would be the right way according to the attorney, so,
Thought it would be more than the right way. but-
yeah. All right, any other comments? Hearing none, all those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed or abstaining?
Abstain?
Okay. 3 to 1. So, I don't know if you had anything to add to us, but we just pretty much shut you down, so
Could you just read the motion as passed again?
you got it.
Sort of. I was gonna make it up later, but okay. I'll make it up now.
I just want to make sure I understand what decision.
So basically, the motion is to give you that packet, which includes the attorney's recommendations and suggested changes, along with the second email that he sent with his thoughts about warning it. And to see if you are amenable to incorporate those into those.
Okay, great.
Plus one other one that Marion brought up about the townspeople. making
oh,
sure that-
Carol, yeah, and then, and we had talked about this before, that
Oh, right.
first right of refusal to Newfane residents, and you had agreed to that.
Should be put in the contract though when you get it back to us that Newfane residents will have the first option on buying the solar stuff. And then you can do what you want after that. That was one of Carol's pretty big concerns, and I think it's a good idea.
Yeah.
Happy
Have you got anything else for us?
No, I'm glad I showed up when I did.
Well, we were running quite a bit early soon.
But anyway, thank you for these. We'll go through them and get back to you.
Yep, I do have one that I'll, you may
If we're all done with that, then we're down to pay orders.
Marion, you want me to help you with pay orders?
Yes, I want you here right now.
Just read off and I'll tell you whether they're there or not.
Carol, feel better.
Thank you, BCTV, members of the public. We're down to pay orders, so basically it's the end of the meeting.